Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday we got a big reveal for Black Ops 6. We got our first look at gameplay and of course another teaser on the truthlies.com, and I went over a video about that. We talked about Saddam Hussein being in the game, but I very briefly glanced over something that should be very important, and that is a return of the fan favorite character and a resident character within the Black Ops universe, and that is of course Frank Woods. Seemingly he is returning. However, there is a big problem when it comes to the return of Frank Woods. And I just wanted to put together a kind of story video, speculation video, talking about everything that we know in regards to the return of Frank Woods and how that is even possible whatsoever. And it all revolves around the end of Black Ops 2. But first, let me start at the beginning. How do we know that Frank Woods is coming? Well, last night on the Truth Lies website, we got another teaser, and in this teaser, it set the stage for Black Ops 6, telling us that the setting was going to be in the year 1991, but one of the things that it showed in this teaser is something for a TV show called Frank's Woods, obviously referring to, like I said, fan favorite character Frank Woods from all the way in Black Ops 1. He was one of the main characters then and pretty much every other Black Ops game since, barring Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4. I mean, he was also in Black Ops 4, but that's a whole other story altogether. So Frank Woods is returning, cool, neato, super duper. There is a huge problem when it comes to this storyline and how he would fit into this game. And you may be wondering why. If the most recent Black Ops game you played was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, you were probably thinking what a lot of other people are thinking, oh, this is no problem. He was working alongside Alex Mason in that game, but his story didn't end there in the year 1981 or even 1984 during the Warzone story. It actually kind of halted at the year 1986. And the reason why I say that is because in Black Ops 2, we get to see old man Frank Woods, which means he is alive in the year 2025. At this time, he is sitting in a wheelchair in an old folks home, and we assume it is just because he is old. But if you've played through Black Ops 2, you know that that is not the case. Because in a mission in Black Ops 2, we see that Frank Woods and Alex Mason both go into the Panama City invasion. This is a big thing historically, which maybe I'll go to in a future video if you would like to see that kind of thing. But as far as this video goes, what you need to know is at one point, he is on top of a building with Noriega. Noriega says that they have Raul Menendez captured and they are going to bring him out, and Woods has a sniper trained on it. He goes to pull the trigger, and when he does, he realizes something is very wrong. When he goes down to identify the body, he gets down there and it is not Raul Menendez, but rather his best friend, Alex Mason. And when he realizes that, well, let's just say he gets capped too.
Mason! Fool. You bastard! Menendez!
Now, he doesn't get killed at this point. In fact, we'll go into that in a second. But at this point, he is shot in the knee and wounded to a point where he is set to a wheelchair for the rest of his life. Now, this is obviously a very big problem when it comes to bringing him back in Gulf War or Black Ops 6. Why do I say this? Because it would be 5 years after this event. And this event alone leads to a lot, and I mean a lot of problems. Let's start out with the first big one. First off, we shoot Alex Mason. Now, it has never been confirmed, and I have spoken to developers about this, and they even said themselves it has never been confirmed as to what the canon ending was in Black Ops 2. But depending on the ending, either one, Alex Mason died here. You shot him in the head and he is dead. Or option number 2, he ends up being alive this entire time, all the while his son David Mason is growing up, Frank Woods is getting old, he's in an old folks home, and Alex Mason was somewhere in hiding. One of those two endings has to be true, and we see that in one of the endings of Black Ops 2. But either way, either Alex Mason is dead and obviously can't be in a 1991 game because this happened in 1986, or 2, he is in hiding and can't be working alongside Frank Woods because Frank Woods didn't even know he was alive. So this would lead us to believe if Alex Mason is in the game, he would have to be in hiding, working behind the scenes, maybe spying on his kids, spying on Frank Woods, or working completely solo. But at this point, the question is, why? Why wouldn't you just come out and tell everyone he's there? Maybe we will find out in the Gulf War campaign. But as we saw in the teaser, Frank Woods is going to be making a return, or at least everything that we've seen tells us he is. Problem is, he was shot in the knee. Now, after he gets shot in the knee, he gets brought into a room where Raul Menendez pretty much tortures them, including killing Hudson. So Hudson is not going to be in Gulf War. But on top of that, essentially tortures Alex Mason's son, David Mason, and torments him and tells him he's going to live a life of misery right in front of Frank Woods. And Frank Woods obviously feels horrible for this because he just killed his father. So Frank Woods is bound to a wheelchair, stuck, unable to walk. So the question is, how is he going to be an operator when it comes to the Gulf War? And really, there's two potential answers. One of them I do not like, and one of them is super interesting. Now, the one that I do not like is I really hope they do not make it so that, oh, his knee actually healed. He went into rehab, and guess what? Frank Woods can walk again. He was just in a wheelchair because at that point it was old age. He'll be there in 2025. I don't like that. I think they should not do that. He should be in a wheelchair after getting shot in the knee. So what I hope they do is honestly put him in a wheelchair and make him some sort of informant. The current rumor with Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is that it's set to be an open world campaign. If he is kind of an NPC who you can go over and interact with, he gives you briefings on missions and is kind of like an intelligence guy as opposed to a field guy, that would be super interesting. Or even if there is a mission where he has to go in with you, he needs to be like stuck in a wheelchair, on crutches, something that tells us that he is not just the soldier that he was before the year 1986. I really do not want them to retcon anything that happens whatsoever. Now, potentially, we could be finding out what happens with Frank Woods as soon as tomorrow, because tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are getting our first trailer for Call of Duty Black Ops 6. It is the one that is currently being premiered tomorrow on May 28th, and in that, we are probably going to be getting some answers as to, number one, what the overall story of the game is going to be, and two, what are some of the characters that are actually going to be in the game. And when that trailer comes out, of course, I'll be making a video of it. I'll be reacting to it live on my Twitch, which you can check out, link down below. That'll be tomorrow morning. There will be videos, and by then, we may actually have an idea of what is going on with Frank Woods. But until then, your guess is as good as mine. Like I said, there's a big problem with bringing Frank Woods back. How do you do it when he is quite literally in a wheelchair? It'll be an interesting theme to see if they do so, or maybe he's just an informant, or maybe they retcon it. I don't know, but let me know what you think down in the comments. I'd be very curious to hear what you guys have to say. And like I said, as we get more information and as these teasers and trailers and everything comes out, I will be keeping you guys up to date. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you have notifications on. It is the best way to stay up to date with everything Black Ops 6 and of course Call of Duty as well. But as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.
We are